Okay, so here it is, nothing special. As you can see, it looks quite good. Hello, this is Jake, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Trumpeter TITANIC Wreck diorama. Now, episode 3, we had a look at doing a bit more of the bending down from the actual expansion joint, and it went really well. Let me just grab the model. You might notice some differences, and I'll explain in a second, which you will see in this episode. But basically, down here, both sides, then we've done some work on the grand staircase. Well, mainly the deck pieces like this, where they've been cut out. The stairs have been cut out now, and obviously they will be coming up for detailing and everything, because when you look at the wreck, you'll be able to see down the grand staircase what remains. Pretty much nothing, just different levels of the ship. The grand staircase has completely been destroyed from the sinking of the Titanic. So in this episode, we're taking a look at the oval on the port side. Now, I've actually done some work already pre-filming this, but I have filmed the footage anyway. I set the camera up the other night when I was doing some work on the model, seeing how I could do the actual oval in the side. And I went ahead, had a go at it with the good old Dremel. This Dremel does many things. So we put the oil in the port side, and it looks really good. It's not 100% finished. There's still a couple of things I've got finished on it. So you'll be looking at that in this episode. But the main thing is we will be looking at getting the expansion joint done. So this section will be able to bend down the wreck, and we'll have the nice little line across the expansion joint, which that's a vital part of this model. Also, you probably see I've already done this side. We're going to be detailing this side, and I'll show you how we've done some of the weathering. Now, at the moment, it's just covered in grey primer. I'm not doing this model on grey primer like I usually do in my models. There's a few different colours I want to use on it. Obviously, I'll explain that more when we get to the painting stage. But this come out really nice, and I will probably just give it a little base colour inside. You're not really going to see it too much, not unless you shine a torch through the windows. So yeah, we're going to be doing this side. I'll explain how I've done that, and then that process will be done throughout the entire model, places you can see, especially the grand staircase. So without keep chatting on, let's get into it. Wow, there we go. I've had a tackle at doing the oil inside the hull. Now, what I got to do is eat up and bend some of the plastic outwards, because it look like the wreck, like when the ship hit the floor, the pressure come through, blew an hole in the side, and these lines obviously going to indicate the stress marks, same as we done with the expansion joint, a bit like this one here. So yeah, I'm going to bend this outwards, and then that does mean you're going to be able to see into the wreck. So I will be putting some kind of flooring inside, so you can see the different decks, which you can on the real thing through this oval. So yeah, I will tackle this now and come back to you all when I think it's ready. Okay, so I think I've done a good job of that. Obviously it needs tidying up and everything, you can see. But we got the creases here and here. If we flip over to the other side, we got this crease here as well. And here's the one that cracked. You can see that there. I'm going to use a bit of putty on that, a bit of filler. We got that sorted out. But yeah, that one's come out nicely. And then obviously we got the expansion joint one here. Even though there's not an expansion joint in this bit, there is up here. Cause a weakness there, so that's good as well. So yeah, I think that's worked out really well. So I'm going to give it a primer like I do, and we'll carry on with the model. So here is the main piece we will be working on today. So I've marked out with the marker pen the expansion point. Now they're actually molded in the plastic, but obviously I got to cut them out so we can bend this half to this half. Now the expansion joint will only go down to, let me grab the marker pen and I can mark this out. The expansion joint gap will go down to this level here. So from there to there needs to be cut. Same for the other side, obviously. Then this piece in here doesn't really need much. I'm hoping it's got enough flets in it. Might have to cut away some of these here just to help with the bending, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So that's what we're going to start off with, and then we'll take a look at detail like this on this side. That should be a good little part of the episode, and I can show you how I detailed it up and everything. So let's get this expansion joint cut. Okay, so I've actually, here's one of the saw blades that I'm going to be using. Now, I'm not using the Junior saw, nothing like that. I just got to make sure it's straight. That's the main goal here. I do not want to have it wonky on one side. Okay, there we go. Now, I need to clean up some of the plastic. There's still some off, where I've cut it. So I'll clean that up. But you can see this one is pretty darn good. That's very good. I'm pleased with that. This one went a little bit off course at the bottom, but we can sort that and clean that. It's not a problem. Got this one. Make sure it's in the right place. Sorry if some stuff gets in the way here. Camera is zoomed in, but there we go. It's more or less in the right place. So you can see this area here sits very nicely. Then this area, there you go. And it's leaving a lovely gap, probably something you could walk over if you was walking on the wreck right now. But it works really well. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but you can see the crease down here, which is coming up nicely. But we're not going to be sticking it just yet, because I want to do a detail on this room next, and I can show you that. So here we are, one of the rooms you can clearly see. Now, what I've done with the other side, if I just... There you go. You can see this here. I'll put a picture in now so you can see it in better detail. So what I done was I used Reval glue right here. We'll be using that one. And then I got loads of these little plastic files that come off when we was cutting the Trumpeter hull up, or the Titanic hull. Got loads of it like this, and now it's it's just bits of plastic that's been melted. It's nothing special, nothing fancy, and you're not really going to see it too well. So if you really looked into the wreck or shined a light through, it would look like debris. So what I'm going to do is put some glue down just in random places. Use loads of it. There we go. Make sure the end's clean before I put it away. Then we are just going to sprinkle this in. It doesn't matter if it doesn't all hit the glue, because we will be using other things in a second as well. It's very basic. Now, like I said, I'm going to be using this technique all over the ship, but there are other techniques that I will be using as well. It's not just this. So don't you worry about that if you want to see other ways of adding detail to your dioramas. Okay, so here it is. Nothing special. So what I'm going to be doing is using this grey primer. All of my paints are mainly this Autotech. And these are car paints. But I've always used car paints on my models because you can get a massive range of different colours. Using car sprays is a lot easier in my opinion. So we're just going to give it a primer. Again, this will help with sticking as well. There we go. That's one step. This is the next step. So this is Model Railway sand that I'm using here. And what I'm going to be doing is quite simply just pouring it on here like this. Using quite a bit, as you can see. There you go. And don't worry, we can clean all that off, what we don't need, and everything like that. There we go. And what you do is just give it another, and it'll blow bits of sand that have not stuck. And basically what I'm doing is using the primer spray as a glue and adhesive. It's great for, it's not the rust core effect that I'm going to use on the model, but I've used it on other models and it looks good. Using the sand, the ballast, using that on smaller model ship dioramas is ideal because it does give the effect of rust cores and everything like that. But because this is Trumpeter Titanic, it's a lot bigger, I will be using a different method for the rust cores. But for the room detail like that, something you can't really see too well, it looks good. As you can see, it looks quite good. Now, like I said, the floor, the deck will go on here, so you clean these wards off now. Even if it goes dry, you can just use sandpaper on it. Beans are still wet. I will just use some offcut of wood or something just to wipe it off. It should come off quite easy. Okay, so I've done a little bit of a test here. Now you can see it's a brownie colour. That's actually a bronze colour that I've used on a few of my model cars that I've done. Now what I'm going to do is give it a matte varnish and just see what it looks like. Now I'm not 100% on it at the moment. I might give it another coat of the bronze as this is a day old now. And I've also done it down here just to really get an idea, but I'm going to see what it's like, give it a matte varnish, and then we'll go from there basically. Okay, so I've cut the deck now and you can see the other half on here with the grand staircase. More on that in a second. But I just want to stick this piece to here like that. I've test fitted it. It will need cleaning up afterwards across the expansion joint. Now I'm just guessing the expansion joint also went through the decks inside the ship. I'm just guessing that, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Okay, there we go. I've put a clip on the front corners and sides. That will just help everything stick in. I will check this over, but I believe that's for the lighting. If you was going to put lights on the model. Again, we ain't going to need that, are we? I'm pretty sure Titanic's electrics do not work anymore. So we'll let that one dry, and then that one can be actually stuck to this. Yes, more sticking. Okay, just test fitted. It's probably, no it hasn't. I did think it might stick itself down because some of the paint's still a bit wet. I've actually decided to give the entire area a cover of this bronze because I thought after, it's surprising how much you can actually see through these windows. So you're not going to see too much, but it's enough just to give the idea that, you know, there's wreckage inside. But the fumes are going to kill me, so I'm going to not stick this bit. I know I said I was going to, but totally forgot. Photo etched windows. So instead of fitting this bit in today's episode, we're going to fit this bit to the actual hull. Okay, best way to do this is like so. It's going to be good. So it's on now. Now what we got to do is remember there's a split. So this has got to be held down, but at the same time this has got to be bent down. Okay, there we go. You can see we got that line covered there. The duct tape is good. Not when it does that. Let's get it in there. Sim. That's that side. Then we're just going to flip it around. Do the same to this side. Who doesn't like using duct tape? Anyone? And hopefully that will stick long enough to hold everything in place, like so. There we go. Doesn't look very pretty, I know. It doesn't have to look too pretty. As long as we got enough on the front here, Sorry if I'm in the way, I'm just making sure we get this right, because, you know. There we go. Sorted. Right, I'm going to leave that now. Hopefully the duct tape won't shift or anything. As for the lines of the joints, we will tackle that in another episode, because that will all come down to when we start making it all rough and everything. Yes, Titanic has been attacked by duct tape. But yeah, it's coming out very nicely. I'm very impressed, even though you can't see it very well. The oval we've done in this episode. And there's a few other things like ovals and a door or two that might be open that we're going to tackle as well, which I'm looking forward to doing that. And of course, in this episode, we had a look at this piece, which can go on. It won't be stuck yet, because like I said, I totally forgot about the photo etched windows on this section. But you can see a split line, and again, that will show up on the decks above as well. So that's very good that that's worked. So yeah, there we have it. So I'm going to let everything dry, glue-wise, and then we will come back in the next episode and tackle more of the Titanic Wreck. I need to get the base done. I know I promised you a lot of base. I'm having a bit of trouble at the moment with that, because the wood I bought's no good for it. Well, there we have it. So that's been this episode. We've got quite a bit achieved. I'm just hoping the duct tape doesn't really shift too much. It shouldn't move. The glue will dry within an hour, a full hour, and that glue will be dried. I probably won't remove the duct tape until tomorrow, just to give it extra time to cure. But yeah, it's coming along very nicely. I have got over the damage we done with the fire and everything. I have got over that now, kind of. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you are really enjoying this series that I'm doing, and it's going very well. So next episode, we'll be looking at some other areas and getting hopefully more decks completed. But we are coming up to that important part where we start making the breakup area look like it should, which I'm looking forward to doing. I'm taking my time when we get to that, because it's quite a big job to do actually, and the entire episode we will be working on that one area. But anyway, chatting on as always. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. I will see you very soon with the next episode. So yeah, thank you. See you very soon.